Greetings and thank you for tuning into episode 4 of What's Good, a production of Tri-County Media. I'm Edris Louise, and I'm so glad to be here with you to bring you topics that will encourage, empower, and energize you to be about what's good in our community. Our email address is 728whatsgood@gmail.com. That's 728WHATSGOOD@gmail.com. Email me your comments or suggestions about future shows or things that you think the public needs to know about. In addition, we are seeking sponsors, so if you'd like to be a part of the What's Good or Tri-County Media family, we welcome you because together we can make a difference. Today, we have a very, very special person in our studios, none other than the Honorable Edith Childs. She's a wife, a mother, a nurse, private investigator, public figure, an author, a councilwoman for Greenwood, as well as a child of God. I welcome you, the Honorable Miss Edith Childs. Thank you for being on our show today.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me this evening.
You're originally from Greenwood?
Yes.
Okay. And you tell us a little bit about your growing up. I know you've got a lot of jewels of wisdom to tell us. So just tell us a little bit about Edith Childs.
Well, Edith Childs came out of a poor family. And when I say poor, I mean P-O-R. Okay. We didn't have a whole lot. My grandmother raised us, and but she did a good job. Lived down at the Pecan Orchard, down where the Jehovah's Witness Hall is. That's where we grew up at, right there in that little area. And was shared clothing from the neighbors, or whoever gave us clothing. But we were always dressed appropriately. With my 5 little outfits, okay? I remember that so well, but I'm still grateful for what it was. Right now, I'm married and have 3 children and 6 grandchildren, and they're all over everywhere. Our oldest daughter and son-in-law lives in Japan. My son-in-law is a principal there in Japan at on a Navy base, and our daughter does contracting for the armed forces. Our middle son lives up in Virginia Beach, and he's a supervisor on a ship there. There's a ship there in Suffolk, Virginia. He has 1 son, and they live there. And our baby son, Lamont, has 2 boys, and he lives in Greenwood. 1 boy is in Myrtle Beach, and 1 boy is in Virginia.
Do you get to travel a lot?
Well, not like I would like to. I would love to travel more, but because of the obligations of all the meetings and all the other stuff, I don't get to travel like I really want to. But that time is coming.
I'm sure it is.
And I'm waiting for it.
Now, I know a few years ago, we heard all over the nation, fired up, ready to go. And that started right in Greenwood, didn't it?
Yes.
That was a battle cry.
Yes. June 8th, 2007. That's when it started. We were out at the old Civic Center at that time. And the president likes to say that there were only 20 people in the room. Well, there are actually 38 of us. It was a day that I will never forget. Because the only reason I went was just to welcome him to Greenwood, not to do anything. But one of the guys said, Ms. Childs, I think you need to do Fired Up for the senator. I said, no, I didn't come here for that. I just came to welcome him to Greenwood.
Now, before we go any further, we are talking about the then Senator Barack Obama.
Exactly. Exactly. And so he continued to encourage me to do that. So finally, I just decided to do it, with much urging me to do it, and so that's where it started. And he was just so excited about the Fired Up, and it ended up being one of his slogans during his campaign. Matter of fact, the duration of his campaign. And that was an honor.
It definitely was, and you were able to go to his inauguration.
Yes.
And just to be a part, from Greenwood, South Carolina.
Yes. to the inauguration and to many of the holiday celebration, and then his last State of the Union address. I didn't anticipate all that. I didn't expect that. But Charles said, well, Edith, he's gonna invite you. I said, oh, well. You know, it was okay if he did. It was okay if he did because he was not obligated to me. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to get him elected as president. I won't worry about all the other stuff because that was not important. But what was important to get him elected and to be a part of the first black president of the United States of America. And I'll always remember that.
And you have brought so much to Greenwood just through you being you and not being afraid to take risks. When you grew up as a child, was that something that your grandmother stirred up inside of you, the ability to be a leader?
Well, she always said that I was the grandchild that could do anything. And I remember I was about 11 or 12. She said, you know what, Gal, one of these days you're going to be somebody. I said, well, I'm somebody now. She said, no, I mean somebody downtown with the big folk.
Oh, wow.
I will never forget that. But I didn't have a clue what she was talking about, you know. I was just a child, and just whatever my grandma said, it was okay, you know. I wasn't going to argue with her or anything. But she would be so proud of me, knowing that she had already saw things that I didn't see in myself.
That's why it's important even now to speak life into your children, to speak positively. You never know where it's going to take them.
Exactly. But she just always said that, look, you can do anything. If anybody can do it, you can. And I'm thinking, what does she mean by all of that, you know? But here I am today, and I'm just grateful.
Well, that's great.
For her raising me the way she did. We didn't have much, but she always said, you know, what you have is yours. And then you can get more if you choose to. But you be sure that what you have is yours, not somebody else.
That's right.
Okay,
that's
so,
good.
You know,
Do you try to impart that into your grandchildren?
Yes,
and
my grandchildren and my children, and they all know that I give them so many ideas and thoughts that came from my grandmother, instilled it in them, and they still talk about that now.
That's good.
You know, so.
Because you never know, you know, when you plant that seed, it's going to grow.
Exactly.
So that's great. Now tell us about your book.
Well, this book is a Southern Black Woman Beast of Art. And I'd always wanted to do a book. I mean, when I was in my mid-20s, I said, one of these days I'm going to be a publisher of my own book. And it just stayed in my head that I needed to do that. And one day I called Robert Miller up in Due West. I said, hi, Kat. I said, look, I need you to help me. What is it, Miss Child? So I began to tell him about my book and what I needed him to do. And he and Dr. Mafuka helped me to write this book. But it's my story. And then I talk about my childhood and growing up in Greenwood and those kind of things up until this point.
Is it available on Amazon, or how can people purchase it?
Well, it's not on Amazon, but it is downtown at McCaslin Bookstore.
McCaslin's Bookstore. That's great. Okay.
Yeah, it's down there. It's not on Amazon and those things. But it's down at the
McCaslin's.
And he lets me know when he's down to the last one or two. And then I'll take him a couple more.
That's great.
You know, so it's downtown.
And it's important to support local businesses.
It is.
You know, because it's those local businesses that are going to purchase those ads or purchase, you know, going to be there at the town council meetings or the county council meetings to voice their opinions. So that's why it's so important to support local.
It is very important.
So it's great that your book is at McCaslin's downtown Greenwood.
Yes.
And what's the title of it again?
It's A Southern Black Woman Beats the Odds.
Okay, so you guys go to McCaslin's and get that book so you can hear some of the pearls of wisdom that her grandmother instilled in her, and she's would like to instill them in others so that they can do we can do great things. That's
Exactly.
great. So what's the other book?
The second book is Brewer More Than a School. I was one of the co-authors
Okay.
for Brewer More Than a School. And it was Dr. Robert C. Moore, Ms. Wilhelmina Robinson, and myself.
What years did you go to Brewer?
I went to Brewer in 1967. I was supposed to graduate in 66, but I graduated in 67 because I got pregnant. And but I went on back to school and I graduated.
And that's the main thing, you know, hey, you may stumble, or
Exactly.
but then again, it's not a stumble, it's a blessing. And then you can start back where you stopped and continue on.
Exactly. So you don't allow anything to keep you back. You just do what you can do to the best of your ability.
Well, that's great. And I believe you went on to be a nurse.
Yes. I went on to licensed practical nursing school. Well, just a practical nursing program. And I went out at the vocation school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did it right here in Greenwood. And I graduated and went on and I worked 8-hour shift and then 12-hour shift. Then I went back to school and I went out to Piedmont Tech and I majored in criminal justice. And that's how I became a private investigator.
And you did all of that in Greenwood.
In Greenwood.
So you didn't have to go all the way across the world. We have it right here, in Greenwood. Just take advantage of it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you decide to become a politician? Or why did you decide to become a politician?
Well, it started when my children were in school. I was a PTO president, the vice president of PTO and all of that. And I just saw a lot of things going on. And being involved in that, you do get to see a lot of things that maybe you can change some of them and some of them you can. But I did not want to be in politics. But it's just something that just fell in my lap. And I was just wanted to do something to make a difference. And the first time I ran, it was a tie between two of us. So I said, okay, that's all right. It's a tie. So there'll be another time. So the next time the books open up, I ran again. And by this time, we were doing at-large election. The first time. And then by the time I got ready to run the second time, they were doing what we call the, single member district, where you're in a district.
Right.
Everybody voting for you. So that worked because people get in their little group, whole little group from one neighborhood. And then there wasn't a chance for many people to win election because of that. But once we did the single member district and got all that squared away, of course there were lawsuits and all that, but it worked out. So now everyone's doing single member district, even on county councils, school board. So it worked. And I was there for 4 years. And I thought, okay, I had to pray about the situation because I know the Lord doesn't put you anywhere that you can just make a decision yourself of what you're going to do. And so I just prayed. I said, now, Lord, you need to just tell me what I need to do. And he said, Edith, it's okay for you to just move forward. It's okay. So I trusted him to say it was okay. I was ready to move forward to do something different. But the strangest thing was I had 3 opposition. 3. So I go back to the drawing board again. I said, now, Lord, you told me that it was okay. And his words was, I told you it was okay, but I didn't tell you it was going to be easy.
That's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? I told you it was okay, but I didn't tell you it was going to be easy. Nothing else. Just one simple sentence. So I said, okay. And it was 2 black men, and the general election was a white man. And I won the election.
And what year was that? What year was that?
That was in 1998.
And you've been a councilwoman since 1998?
Since 1998. It will be 24 years next year.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I know that I moved back to this area in 1993, and you were very involved in the Greenwood, the Martin Luther King Jr. Mass Choir.
Yes.
Very involved with the Martin Luther King food drives.
Yes.
So you've just been involved. Once you didn't just take that position and just say, "Look what I am." You took the position and you worked with it, and you still are working today, doing great things. And we just thank you for being that type of leader, for being that type of person. So.
I'm just honored that the Lord has allowed me to do these things. It's not about Edith, but it's about what the Lord allows me to do and how He will direct me where I need to go and what I need to say. Sometimes I overstep Him sometimes and run my mouth a little bit more than I should, but that's life. That's life, But He has taught me so much.
Well, that is awesome. Well, we're going to move forward to the Little River Missionary Baptist Association Multicultural Center.
Okay.
Tell me about your involvement with that.
Well, I've been involved with the Little River Baptist Association before it became a Little River Baptist Association, was just Baptist Center. As a young child, coming up in the BTU over at Marsh Chapel, Ms. Willie Mae DeVore was our instructor for the BTU, and she always told us to bring our pennies or our nickels or whatever we had for the Baptist Center. I will never forget that. She said, because we're going to have a Baptist Center one day. And she instilled that in us. And I don't know how many other people she instilled it, but I know what it did for me. So I knew she knew what she was talking about because she was mature. And she was a wise person with a lot of wisdom. So I knew one day we would have a Baptist Center. So now we have the Baptist Center. And I'm just excited about that. And we've done so much in the community, for the community. What we've done blood drives. We did the testing for COVID. And we also did the vaccination for COVID at the Baptist Center. As well as we feed those folk from that garden up there. They had corn up there last week. We missed it. We didn't get any. But they had corn up there last week. And it's just so much that we do up at the Baptist Center or the complex. And I'm excited about that.
And it is open. I know we had to close for a while because of COVID. And for those of you who may not know, the Little River Multicultural Center is located at 415 Raleigh Road North, right here in between Ware Shoals and Greenwood. There is a sign. So it's a multi-purpose building available for weddings, available for revivals, concerts, a full industrial-sized kitchen.
Exactly. Everything is right there that you need. And we want you all to come out and support us. Right now, we are sowing seeds into the Baptist Center. And I've been on the board 2 months, since April, okay? And so we're sowing a seed into the Baptist Center. It's harvest time. Sow a seed into the Little River Multicultural Complex. But others fell on good ground and brought forth fruit. Some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. And this started last week on the 21st of June, and it goes through September the 19th. And we would do this every year in September for 5 years until we get this building paid off. And you know how to sow a seed. Everybody talk about sowing a seed. So if everybody else can sow a seed, we can sow a seed into the Baptist Center and let it do what it's supposed to for this community, that we all can benefit from it. So I'm excited.
Well, that's good, because the Baptist Center, it's a place where young men and women can go and play basketball.
Exactly.
Have proms, have dances, have revivals, and the rooms are available for conferences.
Yes.
And we have it right here in this community. So once again, it's located at 415 Raleigh Road North in Hodges. So, and we're glad that you're on the board of trustees there. So we know that a lot of great things are going to happen.
Well, that's our intent. But we need your support. So we need you to sow your seed, whatever it is. And it was kind of funny, Louise, because I wanted to do it my way. The Lord said, it's not about your way, because you don't know what people can sow into the center. And that's not a decision that you can make. I thought, okay. Well, no need to say anything else. Case closed. And I went back, and he sent me to Matthew 13 and 8. He said, you don't make that kind of decision. So I said, okay, I'll listen. And I do as I'm instructed to do. So.
Well, how can they get an envelope, or how can people sow a seed? And you don't just have to be a member of one of the churches. No. Anybody can sow a seed. How can they get information to sow seeds?
They can either call me or go by the center. We will have them there on the table starting in July. They will be on the table at the center. And any of the board members you can go to, they all have envelopes for everyone. We also send the information out to the churches.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody knows. So we're working hard at doing what we need to do. We've been able to do some renovations at the building. The roof is repaired. The ceiling is repaired. The air conditioning is working. The water line is fixed. I mean, we've just been able to do it.
It's a state-of-the-art facility.
Yes.
In a few weeks, I'm planning on having the Brotherhood, some members of the Brotherhood on to talk about the garden. So, but the garden, I mean, they have wonderful, I mean, they grow.
They do.
Zucchini. I had zucchini and cucumber from up there myself. So,
how about that?
Yeah, what's the dream that the board has for the Baptist, for the Multicultural Center?
Well, our goal is to get the building paid off so it can do all it needs to do for this community. That's our goal. And the first fundraiser that we had, it was to get the building in good condition. And it's good condition right now. So we can go
I believe I was there at that fundraiser.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yes.
It was awesome.
Yes.
So.
Yes. So.
Okay.
Every other month we're gonna do something. Well, we have something else coming up right now. It's short term. We're gonna do the popcorn that the AKAs did. So we got it.
Okay.
So we're gonna do the popcorn. We're gonna do it for 4 days. And that is gonna be July 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, I believe. Anyway, it's 4 days. So we need people to. We'll have that information out there to go online and purchase your popcorn or whatever you want. That we will have online for you.
That's great. For some reason, all while I'm sitting here, I'm thinking of the hymn, "Little is much when God is in it." And you know, God is in the Multicultural Center, and just in people coming together. And that's what I see about you. You want people to come together and to do positive things in the community.
And what I like to remind people of, that the Lord made provision for us to have the center. Now it's up to us to take care of it.
Care of it, right.
You know? And you can't just take care of it by talking about it. You have to pull your wallet out.
That's right. You have to work and do it.
You know, so we're excited about it.
That's good. Well, I'm excited. I'm right there with you. I've been a part of the association, or what I can remember, since I was 12 years old. So that's been a minute.
Exactly.
So it's being, you know, so it's a part of me, and hopefully it'll be a part of the community, because the only way to grow is to get the Joshua community. We're the Moses generation. Now it's time for the Joshua generation to come forward and to listen to the stories, to listen to know what can happen. And so I'm just so glad that you're here talking with me. We've got 3 more things to talk about. Okay. We'll talk about the COVID shots. Tell me.
We can still do the COVID shot. We can call to the hospital. I do not have that information with me, but call to the hospital operator, and she will connect you where you need to be connected to. Right now, it's free. But I'm sure after a while, it's going to be a charge, but right now it's free. And they will tell you when you can come to get your shot. Also, Carolina Health is awesome. They call their office, and they can also give you that information as well. But our people, my people, your people, Brother Wise people. We just won't take the vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Because when you look at the initial outset of the COVID, it was us that were dying.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't make a whole lot of sense for us to die like that. But we have to realize that we don't have the opportunity that everyone else has. So many of us did not have health care to start with. Many of us didn't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if they needed to go, they didn't have transportation to go.
Mm-hmm.
So there were just so many obstacles that was in my people way that they were not able to go.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's available, and they are also making sure that you get there and somebody can pick you up now, and you can get there without any problems.
Well, that's good, and I know that you tell. I've heard the commercial of you talking because admittedly, people were kind of hesitant about taking the shots because of what happened years ago, or them thinking, well, we're going to get a placebo shot, but these are real shots that are happening, and so we just hope that everyone will consider getting vaccinated because we want to get together. We want our churches to open in full force again, but we still have to make sure that we are doing what is right.
Exactly.
So that's great. Well, let's talk a few minutes about opportunity zones.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, let's talk about the promise.
Okay.
We have the promise that I just really want us to get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
And the county has not given this year yet, but we're going to.
Mm-hmm. That's the Greenwood promise, right?
Right, the Greenwood promise.
Mm-hmm.
And what the promise is, young people that starts in the 10th grade, going to the 12th grade, if you stay in Greenwood, then if you your grades are up to par, and then you apply for the promise, it's a good possibility that you could get your school paid for.
Wow.
For a whole term that you're there.
That's good.
Has to be in Greenwood now. Has to be
Piedmont Tech
or Lander.
or Lander. Uh-huh.
So I'm excited about that. Right now, we've had young people graduate, but we haven't kept up with where these young people ended up at. So that's what they're working on now, to see where these young folk are, what they're doing, and this kind of thing. But I'm excited about that because it's for our children. It's for any child, black, white, yellow, green, or polka dot, that they can apply for the promise and then be a beneficiary of it.
So the opportunity is there, would they need to go to their guidance counselor? Or?
Yes, go to their guidance counselor and let them know that they're interested in the promise, the Greenwood promise. And I'm so excited about that. And while we're talking about the Greenwood promise, they also have the dual role at the schools now too. That's so important for our young people. And I was just watching something this evening. 2 young ladies, already, they just finished high school and they've already graduated from college. One's 19 and one's 20. Because they had the dual role while they was
Dual
in
enrollment,
high school.
yes. And see, as society changes, we need to change.
Exactly.
To get closer to our goals. So that's wonderful. Yeah.
Yes. And even with our grandson that was a student at Emma, he did the dual role. And by the time he left Emma, he already had 2 college credits.
That's wonderful.
So it's available. And also out at Piedmont Tech, they are training our people for jobs. We have new industries coming into Greenwood, and they need them trained, and Piedmont Tech does that. All they have to do is go out there and apply. Get that book, look through it, and see what you're interested in, and apply it at Piedmont Tech. If you can't afford to go, they have a way to fix it where you can go and get those funds. But you got to be a good student now. You can't just think you can get the funds and not do what you need to do with your classes and stuff. So everything is available, and right now there are jobs all over Greenwood. People want to work. So we just have to encourage them, let's go to work where you can take care of your family.
Do you need to make those home repairs? Do you need to fix up the yard that wife been bugging you about for months? Go see the great staff at Ware Shows Hardware for all your fixer-upper needs. For everything plumbing, lawn and garden, lumber, paint, tools for every job, electrical, and much more. Go see the smiling faces at Ware Shows Hardware, where they treat you like family. Ware Shows Hardware, located at 11 Mill Street, Ware Shows, South Carolina, 29692. Or give them a call today at 864-456-2122. And tell them you heard it on 728 Radio.
Thanks for stopping.
Welcome back. This is What's Good with Edris Louise, and we have the Honorable Edith Childs in the studios today telling us about the great things that are going on in Greenwood. She told us a lot about her life growing up, being a part of Greenwood, and just what it takes to make a difference in the community. We're going to continue on with our conversation, and we're going to talk about the MAT trans system. So tell us all about Greenwood's got transportation, y'all.
Yes. I'm just so ecstatic about this because we've been talking about this for the last 10 or 15 years. Miss Childs, when are we going to get some transportation? When are we going to get some transportation? And my response was, I don't know, but it's coming. I don't know, but it's coming. And guess what? It is a reality as of July 1st. Yes, I'm so excited. It's the MAT Transit, Greenwood County Public Transportation. Well, but what you have to do is 5 miles radius, 5 miles circumference of Greenwood, and they will leave from the courthouse to pick you up and take you where you need to go. But in order to do that, let me tell you where they'll take you to. They will take you to your job if it's in that 5 miles radius. The medical service, they'll take you. You can go shopping, go to school, go to recreation, and it's just things that you want to do with this system. All you have to do is to call 864-538-4500. Again, that number is 864-538-4500. And you have to call on 2 p.m. the day prior to you going wherever you would like to go. I'm just so excited about it. It's $2 a round trip.
Wow.
$2 a round trip. Now, where can you go for $2 in a 5 mile radius? Not far, okay? But I'm excited about it because you can pay with this with cash, your credit card, your debit card, and they will have all of that available there on the bus when you ride. But what they will do, they will ask you how many people are going with your group, and you tell them. So now that's $2 round trip for everybody now, not just for one person.
So each person has to pay
$2 exactly. You know, when they board the bus.
Okay.
And we're working with McCormick. McCormick's already doing it. So we're working with somebody that's already doing it, and we just doing what we call a regional thing, is to where we can work together. So, but our goal is to make this work for this year at $150,000 a year, and then next year that we will be in a situation where we can do our own thing, and we'll be able to take people to their jobs. So that's what's coming next. And then we'll be doing a little bit more than 5 mile radius. We do well this year. So that's why I'm encouraging people to go on and call for to book their trips, to go where they need to go. We also, in about a week, you will see signs all over Greenwood. And it will say Mass Transit, Greenwood County Public Transportation. It will have the number on there, and it will tell you the price. And all you have to do is call and make your reservation. I am excited about this.
That's great.
And it's just awesome for this community because there are seniors who cannot. They have no way of getting around. There are young people have no way of getting around, but this will be an open door for them to try to use this service to benefit them.
Do you have the number where they need to call? I believe
Yes,
it's,
ma'am.
okay,
Yes,
what's the number?
Right. That number again is 864-538-4500. And it's a local number.
Okay.
And they're going to leave from the courthouse. They're going to have 2 buses. They go in either directions, 5 mile radius. But anyway, the sign, you will see the sign, and it will simply tell you what's going on, and they will be surrounded, Greenwood City, basically, on the city limit sign of the county. So those signs will be there, and we'll leave those signs there for you to see, because I know everyone does not do Facebook, everyone does not do the newspaper, and some people don't even listen to the radio. But if there's a sign, and we made it green with the black writing, and you're going to look to see what's on that sign, and we're going to have it on both sides.
Well, that's great.
You know, so.
And as you say, some people say, well, gee, it's not going to help me. I live in Ware Shoals, but you never know if it works in Greenwood, how it can spread.
Exactly. Exactly.
So everything starts with the first step, and this is the first step to getting mass transit in our county. So we just need to take advantage of it.
I'm excited. I may just call them to just ride the bus, just to, I'm serious, just to see, because sometimes you have to kind of do things yourself to see how it affects other people. You know what I mean? You know, so that's what I'm going to do.
Well, that's great.
I don't know when, but I'll just call them and tell them I need to go someplace, and all I'll do is just ride around with them for a few hours, you know.
Well, that's good. Yeah. Well, what does the future hold for Edith Childs?
The future holds for Edith Childs is for her to be able to have some time for Edith Childs. Because my whole life has been involved with people, just doing and then not having a whole lot of time for Edith, you know. So I like for Charles and I to do some things, do some traveling that we haven't been able to do. And I think if we're going to do it, then it needs to be now. So that's what I like to do. But I will still be involved with the community as an advocate for my people. And I know some of my people don't have a voice. So those that I can be a voice for, I'll try to do that. Those that let me be a voice for them, I will do that. But that's what lies ahead for Edith Child.
Well, just know all that you've done in your years as far as a public servant, it has not been in vain. Because I have always looked up to you since I've moved back to this area in 1993. And then it just goes to show that someone from little old Greenwood County can do great things.
Exactly.
All you have to do, be willing to listen to that still small voice, and also be willing to work and have a servant's heart. And I do believe you have the servant's heart.
I have to laugh at Charles, Brother Wise, that's my husband. And he said, Edith, he said, you know, I enjoy everything you do. He said, but Edith, not just you spend your little money, but you get my little money too. I said, well, Charles, what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours.
All right. Well, that is great. Well, we want to thank you for being a part of What's Good and a part of Tri-County Media today. And just know that we're about doing what is right and good for the community, getting information out. So if you ever have anything that you would like shared, just know that we're behind you 100%.
Thank you so much.
So
I'm honored.
Well, good. Well, we want to thank you all for listening today, and I pray that something that was said today has empowered you, has encouraged you, but most of all has energized you to be about what's right and good. So we want to remind you to please make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to look at this YouTube video, because it's going to be on for a while. So for forever, but maybe not. But we just are so glad we want to bring the community things that are happening. We know there's a lot of other things going on, and we pray for those things, but we also want you to know that we're about doing what's good. There is good in Greenwood. You don't
Yes.
have to go away. There's good in Greenwood, and you
Yes.
can do. All you have to be willing to do is to try. So, in addition, if you have any comments, please make sure you email 728whatsgood@gmail.com. That's 728whatsgood@gmail.com with any suggestions. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of the program, we invite you to email us or just to come by Tri-County at 728 North Greenwood Avenue, where it shows. Be about it. If we band together and be about what's good, it's amazing what our community can be.
Can do, exactly.
So, once again, we thank you. God bless you. Until we meet again. This is What's Good with Edris Louise.
Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you.